away.
With Diesel and Cole Bryson.
On the Fan Upstate. This is a play for 2025.
Well, breaking news, Diesel, all is right with the world. All is right with the world as Kirk Herbstreit. Sorry about that. I was wondering. I was like, what are we getting? A Miller Lite commercial live on the radio. Kirk Herbstreit, Diesel, that audio, I wanted to lead in with that audio on today's show because, man, I don't know how you Cowboy fans feel out there besides how I feel and how I felt yesterday. But Diesel, I will tell you, you just heard that audio. Our Tolos just heard that audio as well. It was fantastic. Maybe, just maybe, Kirk Herbstreit is right and all will be okay. He's a cancer. We don't need him. We're going to be okay. Am I okay to venture down that mindset now?
Is that what you got to tell yourself to feel better about this, Cole? I mean, this is an all-time screw up. I mean, you let one of the best basketball players on the planet walk and one of the best football players on the planet walk in the same calendar year. Does the city of Dallas not have any care whatsoever for the well-being of its residents?
Well, you know what is really interesting, Kirk Herbstreit, that audio that you just heard was courtesy of Get Up this morning on ESPN. Welcome into Wire to Wire. It is a Friday Wire to Wire. He is Diesel. I'm Cole Bryson. So good to be with you on this Friday. Tolos on the stream. Appreciate you being here as well. 45 Tolos watching the show already on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. I'll work on getting that computer audio to you, Tolos on the stream during the commercial break. So sorry about that. Well, actually, I'll work on it when you hear this next piece of audio. So a lot of audio coming your way today, Diesel. Diesel is back in the Ingles Market studios. I am live at Burns High School. Week 1 of high school football is here tonight. Irmo at Burns, a huge non-region game. And Diesel, if you're watching the stream, I think I might have found my all-time favorite App State logo and color combination. You're rocking your App State Mountaineers today. I actually like it.
Yeah, this is what I was talking about when I asked who was it, Jack Veltri earlier this week. I asked him about the Under Armour gear, and I, if I'm a South Carolina fan, I'm a little upset about moving away from the Under Armour gear because, man, they made nice golf polos, and this is a Nike dry fit. It feels like wearing a burlap sack by comparison.
Yeah, it's like
man.
an Odyssey
Under Armour
shirt.
Stuff was great.
It's like an Odyssey.
Huh? What are you talking
Sorry,
about?
did I say is this thing on? Did I say that out loud? I apologize. Sometimes I say things I don't have a really good filter. I do. Is that an old school though throwback?
It was. So, and by the way, it wasn't with Jack Veltri. It was yesterday with Jordan Kay that I asked that question. This actually is the way back when, before I was in school at App State, throwback logo. They went to a crappy modernized version of the logo, which you still see a couple of schools that are still rocking that 2000. It's like a block of text. Like I know, for example, because I just saw it earlier today on the score sheet, the Bryant Bulldogs or Bryant Bears, whatever they are, they still have the exact same logo. It's block lettering over block lettering with a cartoon logo on top. And that's what App State did while I was in school. I didn't know any better at the time, but this is what we had before I was there, and this is what they got now. They've gone back to the old school Yosef smoking a pipe.
I like it. I like it a lot. I'll tell you, that's my favorite App State color combination logo ever. I'm a big fan, other than the burlap sack that you're wearing, right? We all know how that is. Tolos, appreciate you being a part of the show today. Before we get to what Jerry Jones said last night, rather, I want to let you know the Upset Picks Challenge 6 minutes ago is officially back open, but Diesel, bad news. Tolos only have 4 more hours. Really, 3 hours and some change to get their upset picks in. We have a long way to go. I think we came up a little bit short yesterday, right?
We came up just barely short because we had a late entry. Who was it? Somebody was asking, Dan was asking if my wife was going to get involved in the Upset Picks Challenge, and by God, she has. Ashley, who is officially going, this is her choice, not mine. She's going as FU Ashley. She's taking Northwestern at Tulane plus 5.5. She is a Furman alum.
How about it?
Loves that FU one time, FU 2 times, FU 3 times, FU all the time chant. So she is in the game as FU Ashley.
How about it, man? I like getting the wives involved. That is,
I just can't have her beating me because I didn't get my upset pick right this week, so I'm going to fall back to 2 points.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? Before we get to this Jerry Jones audio, Diesel, I know I'm putting you on the spot here. This is wild, but I think Tom in Somerville is 2-0 in the Upset Picks Challenge.
He is.
Is that right? Is that confirmed?
He is 2-0.
You gotta be kidding me.
Tom hit along with we're going to get into this a little bit more in the next segment. Tom, along with like 5 or 6 other Tolos, hit last night on the USF Boise State game, and that was the only game played last night that hit on the Upset Picks Challenge.
I did the opposite of hit on that one. I didn't win my pizza bet, by the way. So let's get down to brass tacks here. Yesterday on the show, Diesel, I was very, very upset. News broke at 5 o'clock. Shane Barrett, a.k.a. the dump button newsbreaker on YouTube, broke the news. I was devastated, but I heard that Kirk Herbstreit audio that I played leading into the show, and I all of a sudden felt 10 times better. I felt 10 times better. I slept on it. I talked to a few people this morning. I feel a lot better. I think Dallas, yes, they traded away Micah Parsons, but I think Dallas, if they play their cards right, could come out on top. They have a lot of cap space now. I believe now, as of last night, Dallas has the second most cap space in the NFL. They'll have 2 first-round picks for the next 2 years. So, yes, we lost Micah Parsons. But after sleeping on it, I am here to declare today that I'm officially over Micah. I've moved on. I'm not upset. I think I'm being opportunistic, Diesel. I think the best is yet to come, and Dallas made the right move. Am I crazy for thinking that?
You are crazy for thinking that because you're buying that Jerry Jones Kool-Aid. Don't do it. Jerry Jones has been in damage control spin mode for the last 24 hours, Cole. And by the way, I'm going to petition to refer to Shane Barrett as the wire-to-wire big dumper. I know that's Cal Raleigh, and he's got the glorious glutes out there playing Major League Baseball, but Shane Barrett is our big dumper.
So speaking of Jerry Jones, last night after we got off the air, Diesel, there was a news conference. Jerry Jones had a lot to say. I've got a few pieces of audio. The first one is Jerry's message to the fans, to me, to all the Cowboy fans out there. Here's that audio.
Stay.
This was a move to
was a move to be back on defense, stop it. This was a move to get behind, not be run on. It was a deliberate, thought out move to happen. The other thing that I would say is that they have the chance to get a minimum of 3 and can easily be as 5. Lay top players. I'm going to look at 3 to 5 to 1. Who's going to help you the most? It was strictly that. Because it's not only the draft picks that you have this currency, but the cap room that it's an allocation. It's not a volition. It's an allocation. And so we chose to have groups of players that could pay handsomely. Those caliber of players, to squad players, that can compete. And so for our fans, I think we're off those players. I think we're off from this game. It's built around playing injury.
So that's what Jerry Jones had to say when it comes to his message to the fans. Diesel, it makes sense. I will tell you, I will admit, as a Cowboys fan who watches every game for the past my entire life, Dallas has not been able to stop the run. And at times, as good as Micah Parsons has been, Diesel, sometimes he disappears. So here's where I am on what Jerry said. I don't know if the plan's going to work, but I do believe what the plan is okay, we can use this valuable piece, address needs by a big way, in a big way, right? With 4 first-round draft picks over the next 2 years, plus this guy, Kenny Clark from Green Bay, who's a run stopper, and maybe will be better in areas defensively because of that.
Well, think about it this way, Cole. Only about 50% of all first-round draft picks hit, meaning they become quality starters for a couple of seasons in the NFL. You know for a fact that Micah Parsons is that. So you've got your one guy, right? You got 4 draft picks that you've acquired from this, which means statistically only 2 of those draft picks are going to hit. They're going to become quality starters for you for several seasons going forward. Injury could always take another one of those guys out. So what you've done is you've traded 1 known quantity for 2 unknown quantities and some cash.
Yeah.
Now, I don't trust Jerry Jones to not turn that money around and just stick it in Dak Prescott's pocket, because Dak has been able to command really high salaries, right? Wasn't he the highest paid quarterback in the NFL?
Yeah.
So if I'm Dak Prescott's agent, why am I not advocating on behalf of my client to go get a piece of that money, to say, hey, throw me a bonus, throw me this, throw me that. So we don't know, and I don't trust Jerry Jones not to use some of that Micah Parsons money that's supposed to be used to go out and keep the other guys that you have on your roster happy. That you know this roster better than I do. Maybe you know who those guys are that Jerry may have in mind when he talks about keeping guys that are already on the roster happy. I don't know.
It's really interesting. A few more pieces of audio here. A reporter asked why Jerry Jones told Stephen A. Smith that he didn't want to trade Micah. Here's that audio. So basically, that whole interview he did with Stephen A. Smith, Diesel, was nothing but a lie, right?
Yeah.
Is that what that means?
Well, he also just said all of you in the media are idiots, and you're my pawns, and you write what I want you to write, and thank you for doing so.
Yeah, basically, pretty much. Pretty much. My whole interview that I did with Stephen A. Smith, yeah, it is pretty much a lie. Hey, Jerry, are you going to pick? Are you going to keep the picks? Let's find out what Jerry said about that. So Diesel, he said they've got 4 picks, 4 first-round picks for the next 2 years, which is correct from this trade, right? That's 2 that they got from the Packers, 2 that they already have. Jerry's saying don't rule out him using those 2 picks to go get a proven commodity right now. Here's where I am with that. You're either going to get somebody now who's a proven commodity, or you're going to basically say, hey, we're in rebuild mode. We're going to go get 4 young players over the next 2 years that might contribute. As of today, I see the value of going to get a proven commodity, but I also see the value, Diesel, in, hey, let's make this roster younger, and let's keep our salary cap down by signing 4 guys to a rookie contract who could be big contributors.
I mean, in your mind, Cole, with Dak Prescott being 32, next year, the year after, are you thinking maybe replacement for Dak Prescott in the draft?
Well, yep.
You know, I mean, he's a good quarterback in the regular season. Look, a lot of people crack on Dallas for not being able to win in the playoffs, and it's worth bringing up because it's true.
Yeah.
But the another truth is that Dak Prescott's getting old. As far as the NFL quarterback goes, he's getting old, and you got to start thinking about his replacement. I don't know who else is on the roster behind him, but I would seriously doubt any one of those is the long-term answer.
No, there's no doubt about that. You're probably getting on the verge of that, Diesel, in terms of replacing.
Tanking for Arch.
I'm fine with it. I would be completely okay with that. Completely okay with it. So here's what's funny. Here's 30 seconds of audio. Micah Parsons and Packers quarterback Jordan Love, Diesel, were on a podcast together back in February. And here's what those two had to say on that podcast. So 6 months later, obviously his tune has changed. He's a for-lifer, Diesel, according to Micah Parsons, which 6 months later turns out to be not true. Absolutely ridiculous. I like this piece of audio. A reporter asked Jerry Jones, if Micah Parsons can't get a contract extension, how can other players come to you and get a contract extension? This is really good audio here. Ask Dak. Pretty good question from the reporter. Again, asking, hey, if Micah Parsons, of all people, can't get a contract extension, how do you expect other players to come be able to get one? Ask Dak. Those were his 2 words. And then, Diesel, the very last one I want to play. Jerry, go ahead.
Before we get into there, Cole.
Yeah.
Does this surprise you at all that, look at Jerry Jones's history. He will be extremely loyal to a player and pay them handsomely. He'll kind of like pick a guy for every era and say, you're my guy. I'm going to throw a ton of money at you.
Yeah.
But maybe not really support around you. I mean, I'm thinking maybe I know Tony Romo was well paid. I don't know how he was paid in the pantheon of other quarterbacks at the time.
Sure.
But obviously Tony Romo was his guy.
He was.
And he let the team suffer to keep Tony Romo around a couple years longer than he probably should have. And then Dak became his guy.
Yeah.
So is it a little bit of favoritism from Jerry Jones? Like he'll pick a player on the roster and say, you're my number one guy, and everybody else, whatever. I don't care. As long as I keep Dak happy, as long as I keep Tony happy, as long as I keep Troy happy before that.
So it's funny you asked. that question this morning. I was talking to a buddy of mine. He listens to the show. He's a big Packers fan, Brandon. He asked the question, how did Jerry Jones let Micah Parsons walk after he literally has paid and been loyal to everybody? I don't have any inside information on this, but I will tell you my thoughts. I think there was something Diesel about Micah Parsons that Jerry Jones didn't like. I'll just be quite frank. I think there was something that just rubbed Jerry Jones the wrong way with Micah.
Do you think Jerry felt like he didn't negotiate with him in good faith?
Maybe.
Then I want you to come let's just go horseback riding through a field on a sunny day, and we'll get this deal hashed out. And he wouldn't do that. Micah Parsons wouldn't do that for him. So Jerry didn't like it.
Maybe so. It's a very good question. I don't know exactly. Again, I don't know that for a fact, but I'm just telling you, I have a hunch. And I know Jerry Jones doesn't always tell the truth to the public. He doesn't always say what he feels. Here's this audio to go along with our conversation. A reporter asked him if the way Micah carried himself was an issue for Jerry. Tell me what Jerry Jones meant right there. Jerry Jones was trying to think of a way to get out of that question. I think Diesel, I'm telling you, man, and I know we got to run to a break, I think 110% Jerry Jones, who is an old school kind of guy, an old school general manager, an old school owner, I don't think he liked that crap one bit when he looked down from his owner's box and saw Micah Parsons laying on the table. Bull crap, you didn't see it. You saw it. And again, no inside knowledge. I'm just telling you, I don't think Jerry Jones liked the guy, and ultimately I think that's a contributing reason as to why Micah Parsons isn't there anymore.
If you are an employer, Cole, and you've got an employee who's up for a new contract, and that employee decides, well, if I don't think it's going my way, I'm just going to stop doing my work.
Yeah.
I'm just going to stop showing up. Do you think that you're more likely to get a happy boss after that? It's kind of like the movie Office Space. Have you ever seen the movie Office Space where the main character he gets burnt out, he's upset with his job, so he just stops doing anything.
Right.
He shows up. There was one scene where he was cleaning a bass in his cubicle.
Yeah.
And do you really think the guy signing his paychecks is happy about that? No, it doesn't seem like it didn't from Jerry's perspective. And I hate being devil's advocate and having to play Jerry's side of this thing, but I'm still writing your paycheck once a week. I'm still signing your check every other week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever it is.
Yep.
And you're going to treat me like this when I'm paying you a couple $1,000,000 a pop,
and you're under contract.
My direct deposit, on my end, my bank is sending your direct deposit on time every time.
Sure.
How come I can't even get a modicum of respect out of you?
That's what I'm saying, man. You just can't convince me. You cannot convince me that something about Micah Parsons didn't rub Jerry Jones the wrong way. So to end the segment, to give you my final thought, put a bow on it, I am a little bit more optimistic today. Maybe that's just because I'm an idiot. It could be. Very good possibility. But I will tell you, let's take those 4 picks. Let's use them wisely. Let's get good on defense. Let's get younger. Let's stay in some of those rookie contracts. And let's just see if we can't get better at addressing the issues that we have, like stopping the run, which if you go look statistically, Micah Parsons did not contribute to because of where he played on the field. Old defensive coordinator Dan Quinn liked to move Micah around a lot. I wasn't a big fan. Can I say one thing real quick, Diesel, before we run? On that whole thing, if you're a Cowboys fan or watch the Cowboys, you know that Dan Quinn, in his time in Dallas when he was at DC, he moved Micah from linebacker to edge, right, during the game a good bit. 4 weeks ago, I was in Greenville at the coaches clinic, okay? I'm standing in a ballroom, talking one-on-one with Tom Allen, the Clemson defensive coordinator, just me and him. We were talking about Micah Parsons, Abdul Carter. Obviously, Tom Allen coached Abdul Carter at Penn State, right? I asked him why Dan Quinn, as a defensive coordinator, did that with Micah Parsons, moving him from linebacker to defensive end. Tom Allen looked at me and told me he would never, with a piece as valuable as Micah Parsons, move him away from what he was best at. So my point being, when it comes to Dallas's inability to stop the run, I don't think Dan Quinn had Micah Parsons in the best position every week to do that. Therefore, the run statistics were horrible, and Dallas now has to address the issue of stopping the run.
Again, playing devil's advocate here, wouldn't you say that as a defensive end, you're in a position where you can be more highly paid if you're one of the top defensive ends in the NFL, as opposed to being a great linebacker?
Yeah.
And there's nothing to say Micah Parsons wouldn't have been an all-pro linebacker. But do all-pro linebackers make the same kind of money that all-pro defensive ends make?
Ask Trey Hendrickson, right? You know what I mean? I mean, no, 100%. 100%. I hate where it's at. I hate the way it ended, but ultimately it did. And we'll see if we can make the best of it.
When we come back, Cole, let's get back into our rolling season-long challenge, the Upset Picks Challenge, brought to you by Ingles. We had a couple of hits last night. Who is already sitting pretty after week one? We'll shout out some of the top performances last night because there were some big ones. And, Cole, let's do this. Let's get more of your upset picks in at 844-326-3663. That's next.
844 fan phone.
This is Wire to Wire with Diesel and Cole Bryson on the Fan Upstate.
844-326-3663. That is the text line. That is the phone line as well for you to call in or text in and get us your upset picks for week number 1. Cole, we had a handful of games played last night. A handful of them hit for some points. Actually, let me rephrase that. Only one of them hit for points last night, and a handful of Tolos actually took it. Welcome into Wire to Wire. He's Cole Bryson. My name is Diesel. And our goal for the week, Cole, was to hit 150. And I think we're going to hit it. By the end of the show, we need 25 more. That's it. 25 more. We're at 125. 150 is our goal. As a matter of fact, I'm not going to set a number for this because I'm not stupid. But I think we can blow past that 150 number. How about it? 25 Tolos who are not in the game, get in the challenge and get us your upset picks.
Diesel, last week I threw that 100 number just out there kind of kidding, right? And now the fact that – I'm going to tell you right now, we're going to get 150. I mean, there's no doubt about that.
So too.
I mean, that's incredible. We never – at any time last year, we never had 150, did we?
No, I think we probably topped out around 120, 125 as our max.
Let's go.
That was probably around like week number 4 because, you know, there are some Tolos and there's a few that did really well in this challenge last year that we haven't heard from yet this year. Amazon guy, a couple of you as well who haven't gotten – maybe they'll wake up to it and be like, oh, man, I forgot the upset picks challenge. So, look, I don't know if some of these Tolos might have moved out of the upstate, but you can still be in the challenge.
Shane Barrett
within 30 miles.
Shane Barrett watches every day from Tuscaloosa. He's still a Tolo.
Yeah. Shane Barrett's wife is in the challenge. Andrea, I'm smarter than my husband Barrett. She didn't take a game worth more points than Shane this week. That's the problem. Like, she might be right. She might hit on her upset pick.
Yeah.
But no matter what, Shane's going to have 5.5 points because he's one of the Tolos that hit on USF over Boise State last night. And oh my God, what a beatdown that was.
I do want to
go ahead.
I do want to say real quick, I didn't mean to cut you off. I do want to say to the Tolos that are participating and those that aren't, Diesel and I have been doing the show since March of last year, so about a year and a half now, and I don't go anywhere, and Diesel doesn't either, without somebody walking up to us and telling us they listen. So we're the people listening, the new people coming to the show every single day, every single week. Just want to say appreciate you for all of those new entries in the Upset Picks Challenge. It's a lot of fun. We appreciate you as well. The show's growing. We've seen all kind of growth numbers from everything from Upset Picks Challenge to podcast downloads. So just want to say thanks to all those Tolos who do continue to tell other people about us, like Zach yesterday, who had all of his customers in the phone store buying new phones and listening to Wire, becoming Tolos. We do appreciate you. We don't tell you enough, but we really do.
Yeah, and as a matter of fact, our boss pulled me aside yesterday and said, man, I love this Upset Picks Challenge. I love that you're getting so many new Tolos. And Dan,
is he playing?
That's a great question.
That's
a great question. Why isn't Mark Hendricks and why isn't Steve Senecroppy playing in the Upset Picks Challenge? I mean, they're both Iowa fans, so I mean,
they wouldn't have anything to they wouldn't have anything to pull for.
But they could still get in this thing.
They should.
That'd be great. I think our Tolos would love competing with our bosses, don't you think?
Yeah, I do. I really do.
Congratulations, though. Last night, Cole, we had hits from Shane Barrett, Who's Your Daddy, Tom in Somerville, Tolo Sean, Michael from Gaffney, Boss Man Fat, Christy Man. They hit on South Florida 5.5 against Boise State. Good God, didn't see that coming. That South Florida beatdown over Boise State. That was a crazy, crazy finish. A couple of them came close. ECU almost knocked off NC State, Cincinnati. Oh, my God. You throw a pick with under 30 seconds to go, and you could go win the freaking game. This is Scott Satterfield's tenure in the Power 4, Power 5 in a nutshell. Ohio almost upset Rutgers. Jack State almost upset UCF, but I don't think anybody took that one. All close. No cigar, though. Sorry, Dewey. There are no points for almost hitting an upset. You have to win the game outright. 10 games on tonight that have spreads. There's no spread on Tarleton State versus Army. I know that Corn Chip took Kennesaw State plus 17.5 against Wake. Shane and Sugar Tit, Joe DePasqua, Dewey, and Just Jess, they're all in on Colorado upsetting Georgia Tech. And got this one in earlier in the day today. MTC Scott, the marketing manager for MTC Federal Credit Union, who you just heard me talking about on the show.
Yeah.
He is taking Sam Houston at home to upset UNLV for 8.5.
I took Sam Houston last week and they didn't hit, so maybe they'll be better for Scott. I think the biggest story today on this Friday, college football-wise, should be, I'm not saying this is the biggest story, but Diesel, I think the biggest story today should be how embarrassing Boise State was last night. And not only how embarrassing they were last night, Diesel, but how many of those type losses can they afford before they're not in the conversation for the college football playoff anymore, right? Highest ranked G5. I mean, Navy, here's your opportunity. I mean, come on, Liberty, here's your opportunity. Navy and Liberty, you go win and take care of business against who you're supposed to handle. All of a sudden, that Boise State team I watched last night, they were atrocious. I mean, they were horrible.
I'd tell you, that makes me feel a lot better about my team traveling out to Boise, Idaho in a couple of weeks to face them on the Smurf.
Y'all might get them. You might get them.
Might. Again, this App State team is a massive unknown quantity, new head coach, new quarterback, new basically everything. As a matter of fact, we don't know who the quarterback is yet. Dow Loggins is yet to name a starter, and maybe that's the reason why this line has moved a lot. That's a great example of something we always try to bring up in this Upset Picks Challenge. We remind people that lines are locked in as of Wednesday at 3 o'clock, so that if a line moves a little bit, whether it's up, down, sideways, whatever, everybody who picks that same game will get the same number of points. Because I think as of Wednesday, if memory serves, this App State Charlotte game was favored by like 8.5, and now it's down to 3.
No, try 2.5.
Down to 2.5.
It's down to 2.5. So what am I missing here? Charlotte, what am I missing? I just don't know. I mean, every piece of me wants to take App State tonight. And 2.5 points, I mean, my gosh, this thing continues to drop like a rock. I don't know.
I'm genuinely, I'm all over Twitter right now trying to comb it and find out what's going on with App State.
Is App State just, I mean, is Charlotte better? We don't know. I mean,
Charlotte's been a bad football program since they restarted football, was that 10, 15 years ago or so? And they've never beaten App State. And this is a neutral site game at Bank of America Stadium. This is not being played at Charlotte. I don't know.
I don't either.
Genuinely don't
This seems like a trap, man. This seems like a Vegas trap. and like I said, every part of me wants to just hammer App State. But at 2.5 points, I mean, you just can't explain to me without telling me that App State doesn't have a quarterback on the roster why App State's only favored by 2.5 points. I think I'm going to. I think I'm going to bet a lot of pizza tonight on App State.
We got some picks already in for the day. I mentioned earlier, FU Ashley. My wife is in.
Let's go.
Northwestern at Tulane plus 5.5. MTC Scott's in on Sam Houston over UNLV. Bible Man is taking UTEP plus 5.5 against Utah State. CM Greenville is taking UNC plus 3.5 over TCU. Central Michigan taking San Jose State plus 14. Central Michigan plus 14 against San Jose State. That comes from Justin L. Teddy Sparks, Kane Transplant, Bubba Brooks, Big Al from Pickens, John Waller from Anderson. Let's see.
Jay Waller, what's up, man?
Melissa Level gets hers in. I remembered Melissa Level. She's all in on Florida State upsetting Alabama. And Mad Mex is getting in.
I like that name.
LSU plus 4.5 against Clemson.
Diesel, did your wife take Northwestern because she's a Furman grad and they have the same colors as Furman? Is that why?
No. I presented her with my list of games that I looked at earlier in the week, and I said, you can't pick these couple of games because they've already started.
Yeah.
You know, they were last night's games. And I said, hey, here's a couple of options. Pick one. And she's like, well, tell me a little bit about these games. Tell me, why should I take this one? Why should I take that one? I said, well, Tulane's always been pretty good. But inconsistencies at the G5 level can happen. So she's like, okay, I'll take that one.
I love it. I mean, look, the more the merrier. The more participants, the merrier. Like I said a couple of days ago, I think every Tolo, every Mary Tolo out there should get their wife involved in this upset picks challenge, unless they don't like their wife, and obviously then that's okay too.
I just can't have her beat me. If that happens, Cole, I'm going to quit the show.
I don't understand. I would love that. That would be so funny.
The show?
No. I would love if your wife beat you, not physically, in the upset picks challenge.
Well,
I would
if she
love
hits this weekend, she will have more points than me because I, by virtue of losing my pick last night, I'll fall back to 2 points, and she's possibly getting 4.5, 5.5 points for this one.
So that's what her spread is, 5.5.
Yeah, she took the Northwestern Tulane game. That one's worth 5.5.
I love it. I love it. So much to get to. A little bit of breaking news regarding a situation we talked a lot about in the spring that we're going to throw in the Daily Wires as well. But the top stories, top headlines in sports coming right at you right now on the Fan Upstate.
flying the ball everywhere you
So like every other podcast.
Text or call. One number does it all. 844-326-3663. That's 844-FAN-PHONE. This is Wire to Wire with Cole, Bryson, and Diesel on the Fan Upstate.
What's happening in the sports world? One segment where we take a look around the sports world and give you our headlines. We call them Daily Wires. It's the buzz. Zach Wofford on YouTube says, Cole, how are we feeling after it's been around 24 hours since Micah was shipped to Green Bay? Zach, go back and listen to the very first segment of the show on the free Odyssey app when you have time. I'm feeling better. I'm not feeling great, but I'm feeling better, to answer your question. In our Daily Wires, Diesel, let's start with this. Let me turn the crowd mic down as there's sirens going by as I'm at Burns High School. Sorry about that, Tolos. This is interesting. Florida has suspended head coach Kevin O'Sullivan for the first 3 games of the season in response to his actions at the Conway Regional. Per AD Scott Strickland, the suspension announced today reinforces Florida Athletics' commitment to our standards, with Coach O'Sullivan accepting full responsibility for his behavior. Sully has vowed to learn from the experience and serve as a better leader moving forward. So, Diesel, I don't know where you stand on this. I'm glad to see some repercussions for the way Kevin O'Sullivan acted.
Yeah, the coaches should be required to handle themselves with some decorum.
100%. 100%. So really interesting news. Appreciate Tolo RJ sending me that on Twitter earlier today. That broke right before we went on the air. So we'll see. 3 games probably doesn't mean anything, but I'm glad, like you said, he should have to hold himself to a certain standard. Boy, what a bad night for the Atlanta Braves last night. The Atlanta Braves were up 3-0, and then Kyle Schwarber happened. Kyle Schwarber hit 4 home runs, Diesel, for the Philadelphia Phillies in their 19-4 rout of the Atlanta Braves on Thursday. Schwarber becoming the 21st player in Major League Baseball history to achieve the feat and setting a new Phillies record with 9 RBIs in 1 game. Is that not insane?
Monster outing, one might say.
Kyle Schwarber just destroyed the Braves by himself last night. Tolos, the Upset Picks Challenge is still open. That's a Daily Wire. And you've got about 3 hours, and that's it, to get your upset pick in. 3 hours. In case you missed it, the Dallas Cowboys traded 4-time Pro Bowl edge rusher Micah Parsons to the Green Bay Packers on Thursday. In exchange, the Cowboys received 3-time Pro Bowl defensive tackle Kenny Clark and 2 first-round draft picks. Parsons agreed to a 4-year, $188 million contract with the Packers that includes $120 million fully guaranteed at signing and $136 million in total guarantees, making him the highest-paid non-quarterback in NFL history. Whew. A lot of money. LSU starting safety A.J. Halsey will be suspended for the first half of Saturday's game at number 4 Clemson. The NCAA told ESPN on Thursday, Halsey, who transferred to LSU in May and was considered one of the top defensive players available in the portal, was suspended for a fight in his final regular season game last year while playing for Houston. Interesting news there. I don't know if it'll affect the LSU Tigers or not, but we shall see. Wisconsin starting quarterback Billy Edwards Jr., a transfer from Maryland, was ruled out of Thursday's 17-0 home win over Miami of Ohio after leaving the first half because of a lower body injury. Edwards was injured on a non-contact play in the second quarter after he handed the ball off, and then he started running. His left leg buckled and fell into the turf. So really bad news there. 5-star pass catcher Tristan Keys, ESPN's number 2 wide receiver in the 2026 class, Diesel, flipped his commitment from LSU to Tennessee on Thursday afternoon. A source told ESPN Tristan Keys, 6'3", 190-pound wide receiver, is the number 10 prospect in the 2026 ESPN 300. He is the second-ranked member of the Vols 2026 class, trailing only 5-star quarterback Fajon Brandon, ESPN's number 8 recruit this cycle.
10 stacks of cash is all I see.
No doubt. The Atlanta Braves are in Philly tonight, 6:40 first pitch. Bryce Elder on the mound, but nobody cares because they suck. The Miami Dolphins are facing more turmoil as outside linebackers coach Ryan Crow was arrested and charged with battery by Fort Lauderdale police. The incident reportedly involved a family member and stemmed from a conversation about past relationships. Crow has been placed on administrative leave by the team, and the NFL has been informed of the situation.
Who was texting their ex? That's what I want to know. Was it Coach Crow? Was it Coach Crow's wife? Who was going tap 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 to the ex-girlfriend?
Ohio State University has filed a legal challenge against Michigan's company's attempt to trademark the phrase Buckeye Tears for beer and liquor products. Diesel, this is wild, citing potential consumer confusion and damage to its brand. The university argues that associating alcohol with its athletics program could harm its reputation and dilute its identity.
What's more damaging to your brand? Your rival selling a beer called Buckeye Tears, or you looking like total goons in the media every single time?
Yeah.
So they sued over the flag planting thing. They made that illegal in the state of Ohio. And then they are banning, they're not banning Portnoy, but they're saying Portnoy, because he's not a field host on Fox Big Noon, he can't come in. And now they're doing this. Come on, Ohio
Pathetic,
State.
right?
This is UNC grade of behavior. What
Pathetic.
Some a national title. Act like it.
Some interesting games of note tonight. The first one, Tarleton State Army. You also have Western Michigan, Michigan State tonight at 7. Kennesaw State, Wake Forest at 7. Diesels, App State Mountaineers, Charlotte tonight, 7 p.m. Western Illinois versus number 12, Illinois at 7:30. Wagner playing Kansas tonight. How about this one? 8 o'clock, Auburn, Baylor. Also at 8 o'clock tonight, Georgia Tech, Colorado. 9:30, UNLV, Sam Houston. And 10:30 tonight, Central Michigan versus San Jose State. Diesel, this is our last sleep before we get College Game Day. Clemson, LSU, and Ohio State, Texas.
Love it, love it, love it. Tiger Stripes Media. Make sure you text in your pick at 844-326-3663. Your name, your game, and the spread is what we need. We don't accept picks that come in on the stream because we don't have a record of it. We have to have a record of it. The text line allows us that. Give us your name, your game, and the spread at 844-FAN-PHONE. And when we come back, we'll get Smitty's pick as well. Smitty always does well in this challenge, and see what he knows next on the Fan Up. Well, we have parsed words. We have prognosticated until we're blue in the face, and I can't take it anymore. So let's have some fun talking college football with our friend Smitty. Matt Smith of Sports Talk Media Network joining us here wire to wire with Diesel and Cole Bryson. Smitty, the big question, the burning question that all of our Tolos are texting in to ask, where and how are you going to be consuming college football tomorrow?
Well, my colleague, Phil Kornbluth, has some family things going on, and it's actually a good thing for me because much of his family is in Atlanta. So he's going to take in both Clemson and South Carolina. And I'm assigned to some other things this weekend, like the Zoom press conferences after the game. But the point to that is, I, like you, am going to have my feet up. I'm going to have a cold drink in my hand. It's a rare thing. And I'm going to coach my daughter in soccer and then take in the games on a big screen somewhere.
Ooh,
Looking forward to that.
I'm intrigued now, Smitty. Can you give us what it sounds like? Smitty coaching his daughter in soccer. I got to know.
Well, she's going to be playing in a 3-year-old league.
Oh, okay.
So obviously, they're old enough now to hear, the curse words that I'm going to be stringing at them. Childhood's over, ladies.
Oh, kicking and screaming on the fields of coastal South Carolina, huh? Is that what we're going to see?
Yeah. I do. I love the game of soccer. I love seeing kids. Just to give away so much about me. Terry Orr, who's you might know Terry Orr, former quarterback at South Carolina. Yeah. I was taking in some media with him the other day because of his show he was on, and I texted him because I have his second daughter, and I have 2 daughters. And I just kind of was texting with him about how much fun it is to have little girls. I think it's the best thing in the world. I have so much fun, but I smile constantly with my 2 daughters. So I'm looking forward to my little one starting soccer.
So, Smitty, you're gonna be yelling and screaming over the weekend. Are you also going to be shedding a couple of tears as we see Lee Corso signing off a college game day for the very last time?
What a legend! Right? I've always loved Lee Corso. I always thought he brought something. He brought it in the right spirit. When he picked against your team, I can't imagine anybody ever really got mad. You have to, the fans there on site that boo him. I mean, that's got to be done with a wink and a hug. I just think he's wonderful. I think everything about the way he carried himself and like the vividness with which you could see the way he embraced college football. And I love that and it's something I've certainly taken from him, and you might hear it later when we talk about an upset pick. He always would, when he would break down the game, and then he would say, but the line's going the other way. So somebody in the desert knows something, and I'm going with that guy. And I love that. The fact that he would keep an eye, he would make his analysis as a former college football coach, and then he would still check the big boards in Vegas to see if the line was moving with him or against him with his pick. I loved everything about Lee Corso. We'll never have another one. I wish we could replace him. You can. Yeah. So just soak it in.
Well said. As we're joined by Matt Smith, Smitty of Sports Talk Media Network. He covers South Carolina and Clemson for Sports Talk. Diesel back in the Ingles Market studios on this Friday afternoon. I am live at Burns High School. We're 3.5 hours away from kick between Irmo and Burns that you'll hear right here on the Fan Upstate. I want to throw you on the spot there, Smitty, talking about Lee Corso. I don't want to say he's being replaced by Pat McAfee, but Pat McAfee bringing a lot of energy to College Game Day. If you had to go on a weekend road trip, are you choosing Pat McAfee or Lee Corso?
Oh, well, since I don't drink as much as I used to, I'm going with Coach Corso. I do like what Pat McAfee brings to the table, and he does. And look, there's no question, he's hit on something. He certainly touched on something in sports fandom as we've changed platforms, and you can see his presentation is just different. So he's different. He's not Dan Patrick. He's just a completely different kind of presentation, and it really appeals to a lot of people, and that's great. And I'm so happy for that. And I like that he's on College Game Day. But no, Coach Corso, perhaps it's age, right? It's our age as well. I would love to hear Lee Corso's real stories. I mean, this is a guy who used to run with Burt Reynolds. Just for that, I'd drive him across the country.
A lot of people have a lot of things to say about Smitty, Matt Smith, Sports Talk Media Network. One thing they definitely say is finger on the pulse. So, Smitty, what do you make out of this whole LSU safety A.J. Halsey situation where seemingly no one noticed that he had been ejected in the second half of his last game last year? The conspiracy theorists are out saying, well, Dabo and somebody on Clemson's side noticed that he was going to be slotted into play the first half of this game, even though he should be disqualified for this game. And, everybody's saying it's soft on Clemson's part to bring this thing up. How is it possible that sneaks through the cracks? And what do you make of the whole situation?
That's an excellent point. There should be a record of these things somewhere, right? I mean, there should just like we have a transfer portal that we can all go and see. There should be, notes heading into the season for these officials, and whoever's organizing the games, whoever's in charge of such things. So I don't know if, and as far as conspiracy theorists go, I don't know. Look, there's nothing wrong with pointing out to someone, because we all have to play by the same rules, right? But it is surprising. But here's what doesn't surprise me. Would it surprise you to find out that LSU knew and just tried to slide it in? I mean, come on.
Yeah.
This is a place, Clemson is going to start serving alcohol for them. It's going to be the first regular season game that Clemson can serve alcohol. And LSU is going to be like, what are you talking about? We used to give it to the kids when they came through, from high school. It was part of it. We gave them a bottle of bourbon on the way to the game. It's a different type of, and look, I almost don't blame them, because when you exist with Alabama and Auburn to slightly to your east, you've got to cut the corners every now and then. So I would have been surprised if LSU knew about it, just waited for somebody to say something.
Yeah.
I don't know about any conspiracy. I don't think it has to be a conspiracy. If that was when staff saw it and put it out there, good for them. We all have to play by the same rules, and if it happens, it can happen anywhere across the country. But in other words, am I surprised that LSU would overlook it? No. And would I be surprised if they didn't overlook it and just tried to slide it by? No, that wouldn't surprise me either.
Smitty, I am going to kind of put you in a tough spot here. Everybody we've talked to this week, we've had on Clemson guest, we've had on LSU guest from the ESPN affiliate down there who covers LSU, their sideline reporter, Gordy Rush. We've talked to everybody this week, and the general consensus has been Clemson's defensive front against LSU's offensive line is the matchup everybody's watching in this football game on Saturday night. Smitty, you can't choose that matchup. I ask you what draws your eye? What matchup intrigues you the most when you talk about the game within the game on Saturday night?
All right, I'm just going to go right to the other side, because I do think there's a lot of unknowns in the trenches.
Yeah.
I'm going to go right to the other side and talk about Clemson's offensive line, because and against LSU's defensive front, because I think one of the major weaknesses, if you're LSU, or you think LSU is going to pull what would be a very mild upset, it's only a 3.5 point spread, but if you think LSU is going to win the game, you have to believe that all these moving pieces that Brian Kelly has assembled from the transfer portal are going to come together. And they can't, look, it happens sometimes. Yeah. It does happen sometimes where lightning strikes and you can get it all taken care of in game one. Although Brian Kelly's had a terrible game one record, opening season record throughout his career and the last couple of years at LSU. But I don't usually think you need a lot of time to get that pass rush going. That's usually about guys wearing their big boy pads and just flat out athletes bringing it. And Clemson did not when they played similar bodies, and I'm talking about losses to Georgia, losses to Texas, losses to South Carolina, they couldn't keep the pass rush off of Cade Klubnik. They couldn't line up and run the ball against teams that had similar body types that they did. They could bully some of the teams in their conference where Clemson just flat out had better athletes. But they did not run the ball effectively, at least early. I think their yardage, I was actually at the college football playoff where they lost to Texas, but they ran the ball, but they weren't able to just line up and bully Texas early in that ball game. And nobody really cared. And can they do that to LSU? I'm not so sure. Can they keep the pass rush off of Cade Klubnik? I'm not so sure. I think Clemson's going to win the game. I'll just say that outright. But game within the game, what I'm watching, I want to see Clemson's offensive line because I want to know right now, is that a college football playoff caliber? Is that a national championship contending offensive line? Because I know they are at receiver. I know they are at quarterback. I know they are in key spots defensively. We know Dabo Swinney can do it. He's done it before. What about that offensive line? We'll find out a lot when they play LSU and those really, really high-level NFL draft pick style athletes they've got.
Smitty, I understand a number of Clemson recruits are going to be at this game on Saturday. Max Brown, Peyton Miller, Reed Ramsier, Andrew Beard, Carter Jones. There's about a half dozen more. I know it shouldn't matter, but do recruits that you've had a chance to cover and talk to, do they base their decisions on wins and losses in the games that they attend? Or are they just there taking in the vibes, taking in the heaps of praise that's being thrown at them?
That's a great question. I don't know if there's a statistic, and I've always asked the same question. Is there a statistic out there like how a team performs on your official visit, how often you are to actually end up committing to that team later on? But here's what we do know. Wins and losses absolutely matter because you don't get the 8th place team from the MAC recruiting at a high level. There's a reason for that. And it's not just about great atmospheres because for a long time, look, pick on a team right here in our state, South Carolina, had tremendous atmosphere, as good as anybody, as good a game day atmosphere. But they were struggling under Will Muschamp, which meant Shane Beamer had to rebuild the recruiting. Why? They weren't winning enough. That's the bottom line. So does it matter on that day? Kids always say the right thing. They always come away just praising where they have just been. But it has to matter a little bit. Because wins and losses matter. And come on, how can you shake that? Let's say as you said, you're a recruit. They are watching Clemson play LSU. If they win that game in the final 2 minutes on a Cade Klubnik to Bryant Wesco acrobatic catch, and the crowd goes insane and it reaches 130 decibels, you think that doesn't affect a 17-year-old? It has to.
I'm with you. Matt Smith, Smitty, Sports Talk Media Network, joining us right here on the Fan Upstate. If you have a question for Smitty, shoot it in on the Hub City Spartan Motors text line. We might have a chance to get to it at 844-326-3663. Smitty, I'm going to continue to paint you on this Friday into a corner here. Here's the scenario, rather. Okay, the scenario is Clemson fans are walking out of Memorial Stadium Saturday night. They're upset. Obviously, their team would have lost the game if they're upset, but they're most upset with Cade Klubnik. Why would those Clemson fans, the majority of Clemson fans, after the loss, be upset with Cade Klubnik on Saturday if that were to be the scenario?
Oh, well, boy, this is great. Now you can quote me on something that might not even happen and then just go ahead and put it in your promos you run all week.
Yes.
That's great because, listen, I do believe that Cade Klubnik is going to play well. If the fans are upset, I think it will be because they don't think that Klubnik handled the aforementioned pressure well enough. Because, look, if they give him time, if he's got a clean pocket, he's got any type of running game to go with it, Cade Klubnik and those receivers, they're going to eat. And that's nothing. I'm hearing LSU's brought all sorts of talent in the defensive backfield. That's no surprise. They've always got 5-star recruits or transfers and future NFL guys in the defensive backfield. But if Klubnik has time and those Clemson receivers, as athletic as they are, have time to operate, Clemson wins those matchups. That's just all there is to it. If Clemson fans walk out and they're upset with Kate Klubnik, I think it's going to be because LSU got pressure or they were able to stifle the Tigers in the run game and they weren't able to stay balanced, and it leads to mistakes from Klubnik. I don't think he's going to make any unforced errors. I think it's going to be that he didn't handle the pressure well enough and forced him into some errors, because look, as much praise as we've heaped on Kate Klubnik coming into the year, and deservedly so, okay, his numbers from last season look really nice and he really limited his turnovers. All of that is wonderful and great, but the big antidote to that is pressure. No one, Joe Montana, Dan Marino, Tom Brady, none of them look great when they have pressure right in their face. And let's see if Kate Klubnik is going to get that kind of pressure, or there's enough of a run game and draw plays and good enough performance from the offensive line to keep Klubnik clean. And again, I'll say it again, so you can't misquote me. If they keep Klubnik clean and upright, his receivers will win those matchups.
Matt Smith of Sports Talk Media Network joining us here on Wire to Wire with Diesel and Cole Bryson. After the game on Sunday, who ultimately will end with the highest number of rushing yards? Will it be Russell Faison? Will it be Oscar Attaway? Or will it be the South Carolina Gamecocks quarterback, Manoris Sellers?
I think it's actually going to be Rasul Faison. There's a couple reasons for that. One, there's absolutely no way Brent Fry and his new defensive coordinator they haven't watched that Illinois film 12, 15 times. And what Brett Bielema and his staff did was a really nice job of forcing Manoris Sellers to stay in the pocket and beat them from the pocket. Now, Sellers had good passing numbers in that ball game, and he was able to get out of the pocket and make some plays on occasion. But I actually think there's a lot of factors here. One, Virginia Tech doesn't want him to do that, because if Manoris Sellers is out of the pocket or stepping up in the pocket, he can put you on tilt where you don't know if he's going to run or pass. Forget it. He beats everybody. You absolutely cannot allow that to happen. So the Hokies and their staff know that. The other element here is Mike Shula is now the offensive coordinator, and Mike Shula knows I've got to have Manoris Sellers healthy for 12 games. South Carolina wants to exceed expectations. However you cut it, Manoris Sellers is playing in 12 games, right? There's no way you can have this young player carrying the ball 15 times in the opener in a non-conference game and expect to have him upright for 12 games. So I think the new offensive coordinator, Mike Shula, will protect Sellers. And of the two, and I'm just guessing here, of the two players because of the intel that we have, Faison has looked really, really good in practice and probably playing with a chip on his shoulder. So I'm going to say Rasul Faison gets the most carries of those three and the most yards.
Do you see major concerns when watching film, Smitty, seeing what Kyron Drones does offensively? There's some newness on that South Carolina defense, especially at the linebacker position. I know they've got a couple of guys in the secondary on the defensive line who are returning. But when you look at that matchup, Virginia Tech's offense against South Carolina's defense, is there anything that concerns Matt Smith of Sports Talk Media Network?
Yeah, Kyron Drones has all of the tools. He's very similar to Anthony Richardson and a lot of other players that we've seen come through. But he just didn't put it all together. 2 years ago, we saw him really flash that potential, and then last year maybe he was starting to put it together somewhat, but then he was getting hurt. I don't know. I don't know if I trust his decision making. But are there reasons to be concerned if you're South Carolina? Absolutely, because he's super athletic, and he could hurt South Carolina where Blake White has the perfect defense call on 3rd and 6. But if Drone gets out of the pocket and makes one man miss, he moves the chains and picks up a first down and keeps his team on the field. And all of a sudden, then you get the whole time of possession game, you shorten the game, and even though the Gamecocks are the more talented team, they've got their best players on the sideline watching because Drones has moved the chain. So, yeah, I think there are reasons to be concerned, and he's got a big arm. Now, but let me couch that by saying this. Usually, when we're covering teams, it's a huge red flag. 5 new offensive linemen and a new offensive coordinator for Virginia Tech. I mean, if that were South Carolina or Clemson, it's all we would be talking about.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Drones is returning, and that's great. But 5 new offensive linemen, new offensive coordinator. I think his top 4 receivers are all new to the program as well. And I may not have all those numbers, sealed up and 100% correct and accurate, but I'll say this. There's a lot of new faces.
Yeah.
And a lot of new faces, which is why Drones is so much publicity, because he's an athletic young man. But he got to be to do it all. So, yeah, and South Carolina has new faces on that defensive side as well. But remember, because they rotated so many players last year, a lot of those players actually got some playing time last year. And I don't like the matchup. If I'm a Virginia Tech Hokies fan, I don't like the matchup knowing Dylan Stewart's coming to town, and I've got new offensive linemen and 2 new tackles. That's just a recipe for disaster. But can Drones hurt South Carolina? Yeah, big arm, great athleticism. I just don't know that he has enough help.
Smitty, it's that time. Let's get your upset pick for week number 1.
Well, I'll tell you what I was really thinking about, but I'm not going to do it in honor of Diesel. Something is going on. Appalachian State on the road at Charlotte. I think App State was a 6.5 or 7-point favorite, and then I glanced at it. It's down to 3. I don't know what's going on there, but App State's on upset alert. I'll tell you that, Diesel. But for me, I'm actually going to pick I'm going to say UNLV gets upset on the road at Sam Houston. I just don't – a lot of new pieces for UNLV. I keep hearing they brought in some talent. That's great. But, Sam Houston's going to make it their Super Bowl. Sam Houston State getting for them with a big game opportunity. So I'm going to take Sam Houston State over UNLV. Don't know what the spread is exactly, but come on, they got to be underdogs.
Last I checked, Smitty, that one was a 9.5-point spread, but we locked it in on Wednesday, so it may have moved a little bit since then. And that's a phenomenal question. What's going on in Charlotte? Because I haven't seen anything, and I'm an App State fan. I'm all over the message boards. What's going on here? Yeah. There's nothing. There's nothing that would suggest a key injury, somebody's been suspended, nothing. So I can't figure out what it might be.
Yeah, and I'll tell you another one that's interesting to keep an eye on as far as the big spread. I know we know about the small spread about Notre Dame, Miami, and anything can happen there, or Baylor, Auburn. But I'd watch out. I'd put Kentucky on upset alert. Toledo's rolling into town, and they've scalped a few BCS Power 5 programs in the past, and I don't think – and Kentucky fans are not known for creating a big-time atmosphere when they don't think they've got a big-time team, and they're kind of sleepwalking into the season. I'd watch out for Toledo over Kentucky, but I think I've got a better chance because I'm already 1-0. All right, so I'm trying to keep the streak alive. Already won last week. I'm trying to keep it alive and go with St.
Smitty, we always appreciate you, man. We love talking to you. Where are you at tonight? You still doing the Sockasty broadcast? Are you outside? How'd that go last week? Did you get electrocuted?
Well, and that game got moved and ended up Wando beat Sockasty Monday night. So we've got 2 games in the same week.
Wow.
Sockasty is on the road at Dillon. I'm so glad I didn't drop this phone call because I'm now in Dillon County, which, is known for football, but not for cell towers. I'm seeing a lot of laundromats and empty metal buildings, and a few crime scenes.
Yeah.
I roll onto the game, but I've already passed Ainer. I'm on my way to Dillon, and you got another good one. I'm glad Burns christened the stadium with a win last week, and you've got another big one coming up tonight with Irmo. That's
huge.
Awesome. Two marquee games back to back for Burns.
Absolutely, Smitty. Enjoy the broadcast tonight. As always, we look forward to talking to you again next week.
Talk to you next week, boys.
Smitty, Sports Talk Media Network. He's the best. We talk to him every Friday at 4 p.m. And Diesel, speaking of high school football, it's time for me to make my weekly picks. Am I right? Am I wrong? I went 21-7 a week ago in week 0. I'll try to improve that tonight. We'll get into that next right here on the Fan Upstate.
more. Interest accrues from loan date. Other restrictions apply.
Leave your namby-pamby sports takes at the door. Call in if you're man enough.
844 Fan Phone. This is Wire to Wire with Diesel and Cole Bryson on the Fan Upstate.
Rolling along in hour number 2, Diesel back in the Ingalls Market Studios. I'm Cole Bryson. I'm live at Burns High School. It's 4:30. That means we're getting one step closer to the pregame show. Irmo at Burns, a huge non-region matchup tonight. The Irmo team that played for a state championship a season ago. Ought to be really interesting to see how this game plays out tonight. We invite you to join us tonight at 7 o'clock for the Burns pregame show and throughout the course of the game as well. But it's time to get down to it. Diesel, I need to make my picks official on air. I can put them on an article on thefanupstate.com, but it's not official until it comes out of the horse's mouth. That's what they say, at least. And
What'd you call yourself?
well, it's better than a donkey, right?
It might be the best part of a horse to be referred to as.
That's what I'm saying. It could be a lot worse. A lot of games tonight in week 1. Diesel and I are going to roll through these, and he will moderate. I will choose, and you will not get mad at me for choosing against your team, dadgummit. It happens every week. I'm sorry. I have to pick one every single week. I get a text or a phone call or a screenshot on Twitter. I picked the game. I'm sorry. Somebody has to lose. Let me apologize in advance. Diesel week 1. Here we go. Off and running whenever you're ready.
Let's do this. We got a 5A team in Easley from Region 1 that is stepping out of their comfort zone, going on the road at Wren, a 4A team. So the bigger classification playing the smaller classification on the road.
Wren, man, they had a big win a week ago. We talked to the Wren coach and a few players on the Saturday morning scramble back at the Ingalls in Piedmont and Travelers Rest on Saturday. And Anthony Freight, by the way, the coach at Wren, those guys have got something special this season. Sorry for the green wave over in Easley, but I am going with a Wren tonight to get the win. The Wren Hurricane starts the season 2-0 after tonight, in my opinion.
How about Greenville, Cole, who had a tough road last week facing Dorman?
Yeah.
They now play Riverside.
Not going to get any easier. Riverside's really good. Gideon Merritt was our Fan Upstate Player of the Week in Week 0. I like Riverside again tonight. Matthew Rochester, man, they've got some talent offensively with Speedy Taylor healthy. Gideon Merritt's going to be really good all season long. I like Riverside. The Warriors tonight to start 2-0.
How about Beaufort on the road at Greenwood?
I will be honest with you, I don't know a lot about Beaufort. I do know that Greenwood's a really good team. Greenwood played Dorman well. Greenwood played Gaffney well in a scrimmage a couple of weeks ago. Greenwood plays Dorman next week. I'm going with Greenwood tonight. Give me the Eagles of Greenwood.
Okay, he's going home team. So
yeah.
How about Hillcrest? Always a good program facing Clover.
This one will be interesting. It's at Clover. Hillcrest started the season 1-0 last week. Jackson Free was incredible. Jackson Free was right there in the mix for Fan Upstate Player of the Week tonight, or last Friday night, Diesel. I think he will be again tonight. Clover is going to be a better test for Hillcrest, but at the end of the day tonight, I like the Rams to go on the road up there, up Highway 5, and come home with a win. Hillcrest also starting 2-0.
You saw this team face-to-face last week. JL Mann, Region 1 5A, facing Gaffney, Region 2 5A.
You know, JL Mann, first-year head coach Bryce Smiley, they had a tough loss last week. Gaffney, on the other hand, also had a tough loss to Independence. I would hate to be the team playing Gaffney tonight after they lost to Independence last week. I think JL Mann is catching Gaffney at the wrong time tonight, Diesel, and JL Mann gave up 599 yards a week ago to Midland Valley. I like Gaffney to win tonight, and I like him to win big.
How about Boiling Springs taking on Malden, the Mavericks?
You know, Malden's improved. Andre Cook's done a really good job, bringing that program back from where it was. I mean, they were really struggling, but Boiling Springs, man, the interesting thing about them, they're young offensively. They almost gave that game away a week ago with Greer. I want to see how this Boiling Springs team does for 4 full quarters. Boiling Springs will take care of business tonight against Malden in my mind, but I wouldn't be surprised to look at this score at some point and say, man, that's closer than I thought it would be.
Another 5A school going on the road to a 4A, Woodmont at Seneca.
I'll take Seneca tonight.
Okay. How about Irmo against Burns?
You know, this one's gonna be tough for Burns. Irmo Diesel played for a state championship a season ago, lost on a walk-off field goal by 3 points to Northwestern, Paige Walford and those guys. Irmo lost to a quarterback, Aaron Brand, the son of head coach Aaron Brand. Thank God he graduated. He was the best quarterback I saw all season last year. And Burns played him pretty good last year down in Irmo. This one's going to be tough tonight. I like Burns' home field advantage, and I think that Burns' defense will be able to create enough controversy for a younger quarterback, Irmo, and I like the Rebels to get the win tonight, but I do think this one's going to be a very tough test for the Rebels.
Is Dorman going to blank somebody 2 weeks in a row? They host Catawba Ridge.
It's a good question. They will not blank Catawba Ridge. Their defense is good, though. Wade Cooper's done an incredible job over there as defensive coordinator. Dolman wins tonight, and I think they win comfortably, but I do think Catawba Ridge finds the scoreboard.
Cole, this one may be a little lopsided. What do you know about Eastside at Carolina?
Yeah, Eastside could probably win this game pretty comfortably. Carolina is the inferior team in my mind tonight. I do think the Eagles of Eastside roll.
Spartanburg at Dutch Fork.
God, I mean, you talk about Spartanburg. Their first 2 weeks, Northwestern and Dutch Fork, both teams won the state championship a season ago. I feel bad for Spartanburg. That's a brutal start to your season. Trey Burke didn't play last week, the quarterback for the Vikings. He had a rolled ankle. I don't know if he's playing tonight. Last I heard, he was kind of day-to-day. Regardless, I think Dutch Fork wins tonight. But, boy, it would help if Trey Burke played tonight for the Vikings. I'll take the Silver Fox of Dutch Fork.
Yeah, the question is, who has it out for Spartanburg, having to face 2 state champions in a row to start the season? That's tough. But it only matters once you get to regional.
That's right.
How about Blue Ridge against Wade Hampton?
You know, Wade Hampton, they had every opportunity last week to win that game against TR Diesel, but they're not going to win this week either in my mind. I like John Boggs and Blue Ridge to get it done in week 1.
Okay, Emerald at Travelers Rest.
I will take Emerald, what could be a sneaky close game. Travelers Rest won last week against Wade Hampton in week 0. I'll go Emerald tonight.
Let's go Fountain Inn versus Woodrow.
Oh, boy, this one could be fun. Fountain Inn's good. They've got a quarterback that's on the rise, but ultimately Woodruff's going to be one of the better teams in Spartanburg County this season. Give me the Wolverines tonight.
And I believe this is JD's alma mater, Clinton against Lawrence.
It is. It is his alma mater. Clinton is really good. Obviously, state champions a season ago. Lawrence, Greg Porter, second season now. First year running that full spread offense. Give me Clinton tonight, but that game maybe could be a little sneaky close.
Liberty having to punch up tonight. They're a 2A team going on the road to face a 4A team at Southside.
And you know what? Liberty will punch up and take care of business tonight. Give me Liberty taking down the 4A Southside Tigers tonight.
Berea on the road at Landrum.
Landrum starts 2-0 tonight, taking down Berea, man. Mike Reed, first-year head coach at Landrum. Those guys start 2-0.
How about Stratford against Daniel?
Stratford, lower state team. This one's going to be tough. Daniel's coming off of a massive win over Chapman in week 0, Diesel. I will take the Lions again this week. Give me Daniel tonight.
So is that why we haven't heard from Big Kev this week?
Yeah,
upset about
Chapman, man, they took a tough one. They really did. It was Daniel's really good, though.
All right, let's talk about the Greer Yellow Jackets against BHP.
Could be sneaky close at times, but BHP, in my mind, I think BHP 4 quarters of football tonight. This could be a good game. But Diesel, I think BHP, Russell Blackson, and those guys will take care of business tonight.
Walhalla at Pickens.
Ooh. I'll take Walhalla tonight in that one.
All right. How about Palmetto at Crescent?
Give me Crescent.
Okay. Keenan at Pendleton.
I don't know a lot about Keenan's football program. I know they're always good in basketball. Pendleton, man, coming off of a tough loss a week ago to Chesney. I'll take Pendleton to bounce back tonight.
All right, we got 3A West Oak hosting Clear Dot Charter.
I've never heard of Clear Dot Charter, so give me West Oak.
Okay. I just wonder, is it the words Clear Dot or is it just a circle with?
That's a good question. It's a good question.
Christchurch at Anderson.
Christchurch had a tough week a week ago, Diesel, in that week 0 matchup. I do think they bounce back tonight in a big way against a homeschool team in Anderson, the Cavaliers. Christchurch, Quinn Hatfield, those guys win big tonight.
All right, a team that takes football very seriously, Abbeville hosting Powdersville.
You know, Powdersville, they're similar to Greer. They always schedule non-region really tough. I'll go Abbeville there, but it will be interesting to see if Powdersville can keep that somewhat close.
All right, Mountain View Prep against Southside Christian.
Give me Mountain View Prep tonight. They've just got too many athletes in my mind for Southside Christian to keep up.
All right, coming down the stretch, we've got Chapman on the road at St. Joseph's.
I got this game wrong a year ago. I picked St. Joe's. Chapman beat them. Harry Cavanis, the head coach of Chapman, let me know after the game that they won after I had picked against them. I talked to Harry Cavanis this morning about an article I did on the fanupstate.com. Chapman's really got a bad case of the injury bug right now. I do think St. Joe's, they had a huge win a week ago over Cardinal Newman. They put up like 40-plus points. Eric Nash, the former Walford assistant coach, does a good job. I'm going to pick St. Joe's in this one again. I might be wrong again, but hopefully I'm giving Chapman bulletin board material tonight.
Yeah, you didn't realize that you were bulletin board material.
Right.
How about East Rutherford at Blacksburg?
Be a tough test. Blacksburg breaking in a new quarterback tonight. Give me East Rutherford.
Okay, and the final one, Cole Chesney at Broome.
Chesney starting 2-0, man. I am high on Chesney this year. Brett Chappell's doing a fantastic job. I think the Eagles get it done tonight, and this is a good Chesney team, by the way. They're gonna be tough. They're gonna be a tough out all season long. And by the way, Taylor RJ did let me know that Clear Dot at West Oak was canceled. The reason for it was unforeseen circumstances. So appreciate that, Tolo RJ.
Okay, we got a couple of more upset picks that have come in over the last segment or so. We'll get to those on the other side of the break. And I want to know from you, Tolo, since Tom gave his full menu of what he's going to be eating over the weekend, what's going in your oven or on your grill for your college football kickoff weekend? Text in, call in 844-326-3663.
things people love. Secure Purchase is powered by Caramel Dealer Services, LLC, and eBay subsidiary.
Text or call. One number does it all. 844-326-3663. That's 844-FAN-PHONE. This is Wire to Wire with Cole, Bryson, and Diesel on the Fan Upstate.
Still scouring Twitter, trying to figure out why this App State Charlotte neutral site game line has moved nearly 5 points in the last 24 hours. Cole, that's wild stuff. I mean, you see a line move a half a point or a point. Maybe just nobody bet on it, and then all of a sudden everybody just barreled in, said, "Give me Charlotte." That's wild stuff. Still, not a lot of Tolos picking that one, and that's A-okay. That makes my heart feel a little bit better. Some picks coming in from James Owens, who is going for broke here. He's taking New Mexico, beating his words, Michigan Wolverines for 34.5. Jaybird taking Toledo plus 10.5 over Kentucky. Jaybird's better half, taking Coastal plus 13.5 over Virginia.
I like it.
Gert from Greer wants UCLA plus 6.5 over Utah. Drew Bastank taking LSU plus 4.5 over Clemson. Ayatollah is in with Ball State plus 17.5 against Purdue. We got Percy in with Syracuse upsetting Tennessee. And, of course, if you were listening in the last hour, you heard Smitty is taking Sam Houston plus 9.5, a 10-win team last year. Remember that, a 10-win team hosting UNLV that gave up 31 points to an FCS team last week.
Wow. T. Swizzle says he should have took Virginia Tech over Carolina. Carolina's a scam. T. Swizzle is flying in hot with the trash talk. Drew Bastank asked, "Yo, why is he doing that to my Boilermakers?" Sorry about that. But good to hear all these Tolos rocking and rolling with their upset picks. Diesel, does that put us close to our goal for the day?
We are very close.
Like how close?
Very, very, very close to beating our goal of 150 picks here for week one. Tolos, we are 5 picks away.
Oh,
5 picks away. We're going to get it. And those of you who are waiting until the last minute, what are you waiting for? 844-FAN-PHONE. If you don't know what we're talking about, it's the Upset Picks Challenge brought to you by Ingles. We ask you to pick a game where you think the betting underdog will outright upset the favorite team. And then if you are right, the points that team was an underdog by get added to a rolling season-long tally. So if you were to say that you think LSU is going to upset Clemson, I think it was locked in yesterday at 3.5 points. We locked the spreads in on Wednesdays at 3 o'clock. Everybody who picks the same game going to get the same number of points no matter what. If you were like Jaybird's better half, if you were to take Coastal Carolina to upset Virginia and they do it, you would get 13.5 points added to your tally. 13.5, big score.
Huge.
In this challenge. Jump in from the beginning. That obviously gives you the best chance to compete over the course of the season. We do it every single week. Don't miss any weeks, because if you don't pick at all, you lose 2 points. Can't fall below 0. So if you got nothing now and you get a pick wrong or don't pick, obviously you're not going to fall way, way, way back. Just get your picks in, play every week. You never know. You could go on a heater towards the end of the season and make a deep run. That's what I did. I was down at the bottom of the barrel with Cole last year. And then I went on a heater.
Thanks, Diesel. Thanks.
I mean,
Thanks.
People need to know the full story, okay? So somewhere around like week 8 or week 9, I might have had like 8 points. And then I somehow hit on like 4 in a row. And I ended up in the top 15. So it can be done. Don't get discouraged if you fall back. You can make a push up towards the top.
I like this comment from Ethan on our Facebook stream right now, where 155 Tolos are watching between Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. Ethan says, "Cole, how do we still be Cowboys fans? At what point do we hang it up?" You know, that's a good question, Ethan. I hadn't figured that out yet. If you figure it out, let me know, because I would like to not be miserable. I don't know. Diesel asked me why. I don't know.
Here's the thing. Jerry Jones is the king of kicking the can down the road, and you all are addicted to the clang of when it hits a rock.
Maybe. I like maybe.
Yeah, let's give up Mike. See, Cole, you've already been convinced.
In one day.
Jerry's already Jared you.
Yeah.
You in the first segment of the show. We're saying, oh, it's great. We're going to get
good.
4 first-round picks.
We're going to be fine.
Go.
It's all good.
Even though we got an all-pro defensive end just walked right out of the door because he was mad at Jerry.
We don't need him.
You're already over it.
No, we don't need him. We don't need him. He's a cancer. We don't need him. He's not a team guy. We're good. Don't bring me down this blue sky. I cannot find a cloud in the sky today. I mean, they're beautiful blue skies. The sun's out. I'm in a great I'm past it. Micah Parsons, adios. Have fun freezing your tail off in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Nobody wants to go live there. You'll miss Dallas. We won't miss you. Good riddance.
Cole, we got about 60 seconds for him. Let's hear from Dale, a fellow long-suffering Dallas Cowboys fan. You're over it. You're feeling better about it. But what about you, Dale?
I've had just under 24 hours to swallow this horse pill that Jerry Jones has forced down my throat. And if we're truly better with addition through subtraction, can we subtract Jerry Jones and Dak Prescott and add somebody else?
Wow, that's dark.
Could I interest you in Russell Wilson?
No, God, no. Give me Dak.
No, but I would take Jameis Winston.
No, you wouldn't.
I would take his 30 for 30.
No, you wouldn't. No, you wouldn't. Dale, go home. No, Dale, don't, Dale. You wouldn't take Jameis Winston over Dak Prescott.
I will the second Dak gets hurt.
Okay, when he gets hurt, he's not going to get hurt.
It's going to happen.
Oh, my gosh.
We're in the ball. And then don't block for crap. And in week 4, when Micah takes Dak's head off, what do we got left? Hilton?
Thanks for the call, Dale.
Thanks, Dale.
Appreciate
Good
you.
stuff. Good stuff.
It's Wire to Wire with Diesel and Cole Bryson.
Oh,
Keep your
boy.
thoughts coming. Cowboys fans, I know you're out there.
Yeah.
I see your lifted trucks. I see the truck nuts hanging off of your trailer hitch. I know you're out there. Call in. We'll have a big group therapy session together.
No. They're in hiding. They're in hiding. But like I said, I'm not worried. I'm not worried one bit. Diesel, we made score predictions yesterday for South Carolina Clemson. There are other huge games this weekend. Let's predict them. How do we see them going? Tolos, we want you to be a part of this next segment as well. Big games this weekend. How they go next.
From the fields to the courts and the gridiron to the tracks,
Electrifying
We'll have
sports
Jersey
talk
Joe.
from start to finish
you're going wire to wire
with Diesel and Cole Bryson.
on the Fan Upstate.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere, and it's time to look at the biggest games happening this weekend in college football, how we see them going. Diesel and I predicted what will happen in our 2 local games with Clemson tomorrow night and South Carolina on Sunday, but we didn't get to the rest of the games. There are a lot of good games this weekend, including tonight. College football tonight in just a few hours from now. That's what we're doing in this very segment. We want to hear from you as well, Tolos, at 844-326-3663. Phone lines are open. Hub City Spartanburgers text line open as well. Let's go to the phone lines, though, before we dive into that, where the man, the myth, the legend, Jersey Joe wants to weigh in. What's up, Jersey Joe?
Cole, how you doing, buddy?
Fantastic.
Is that a wellness check call?
Diesel, how you doing?
I'm doing great, but my team didn't just trade away an All-Pro. That's because my team hadn't had an All-Pro in a long time. So, you know.
Hey, I got my mother-in-law with me right now, and she's from Irmo, and she's saying, go Irmo tonight.
Oh, man, that's tough, Jersey Joe. Well, first of all, tell your mother-in-law we appreciate her listening and being a Tolo. You might have to explain to her what that is. That's okay. You can explain it well. But Irmo's good, Jersey Joe. They played for a state championship a season ago. It's going to be a tough test for Burns tonight. There's no doubt.
Yeah. Hey, my daughter, Caitlin, wants to get in on the upset pick challenge.
Let's go.
Let's go. Let's get your mom in the upset picks challenge as well. She can go in the challenge. How about Jersey Jane? You got Jersey Joe and Jersey Jane.
Mother-in-law, Diesel.
Mother-in-law. Excuse me.
Jersey Carroll.
Okay.
I love it.
No, but my daughter wants to take Virginia Tech, getting the 7.5 points.
Okay.
And you said your daughter's name was what?
Caitlin.
All right, I'll put her in as Jersey Caitlin.
There
so
you
know
go.
Exactly who she is. Is that Caitlin with a C or Caitlin with a K? I want to get it right.
With a C.
Bam. Let's go. See, this is what everybody always asks, what a true Tolo. What's a Tolo? Well, Tolo, turn on, leave on, somebody who listens to the show all the time. But Jersey Joe is the definition, Diesel, of a true Tolo. Out here recruiting Tolos, number one. Number two, he always is listening. Number three, he shows up when we were doing our 40-yard dash, a couple of months ago in the station parking lot. And then number four, he's out here recruiting his daughter for the Upset Picks Challenge. We're going to break the record.
Hey, we got to get that hot dog challenge going there, Cole.
Jersey Joe, you don't want any part of that. You don't want any part of that. You don't want any part of it. Let me ask you a question. How do we do it? Let's do it. I mean, I'm not like some people who will tell you they're going to do something and not do it. I'm in.
Well, I gave you my phone number. Give me a call sometime, and we'll just go do it.
But Diesel, here's what I want to do. And we're not going to tell HR. We're not going to tell our bosses. We're not going to tell anybody. We're going to do it and ask for forgiveness later.
This is what we call a non-sanctioned event, Jersey Joe.
Yeah, you're going to show up. Maybe it's during a commercial break or something. Maybe it's live on the air. Who knows? I mean, there's nothing against that. And we'll do it. Diesel will provide the best commentary out there. But I'm willing to go head-to-head with. Maybe we can get Ingles Markets in on it and do it live with Melissa Level there one day at an Ingles Markets. I mean, they have hot dogs, Diesel. They have hot dogs.
Yeah, they do.
Well, there you go.
I like it. I promise you, Jersey Joe, I'll work on it. And one more time so I know, so I can think, sleep, pray on it. What's the number I have to hit or beat you?
Well, like I said, everybody gets, in the past for Greenville Drive, everybody gets 10 hot dogs. First one done wins.
Oh, just first one to finish 10.
Yeah.
That'd be so messy. That would be.
I don't know that I'm mature enough to handle calling play-by-play for a hot dog eating.
You might not be. It's okay. It's okay.
see, she knows. Jersey Carroll, she knows.
I love it. Thanks, Jersey Joe.
All right, guys.
Really good stuff. I'm up for it. I might lose. I might lose, but I'm not going to back down.
Even if you lose, everybody wins, Cole.
That's true.
Because they get to see you try.
We got to get this happening, man. We got to get Ingles on it. They can, it can happen there. Melissa Level will love it. I mean, me and Jersey Joe going, that'd be a lot of fun. That'd be a lot of fun. You would have so much content to use on me for so long, it wouldn't be funny, especially if we got it on the stream. Maybe we don't stream it. I don't know. It'd be fun, though.
So, Cole, help me out here, and Tolos, help me out as well. I was not texting, but I was typing and I was searching something at the same time. Jersey Joe said Caitlin's pick was
Virginia
Tech. Okay. I wanted to make sure. I wrote that down. I thought that's what I heard, but I wanted to be 100% certain.
No doubt. All right, let's get to it. The biggest games happening this weekend, how we see them playing out. Tolos, want to hear from you as well. 844-326-3663. Real quick, on the text line, the Hub City Spartanburgers text line, one texter asked how they enter the Upset Picks Challenge. You text the show, what you just did, but we need your name, the game, and the spread. So, for example, if you wanted in tonight and you wanted to take App State, they're playing in just a few hours against Charlotte. What you would do is you would send your name. It'd be Cole Bryson, App State versus Charlotte plus 3.5. Or App State versus Charlotte plus 3.5. That's how you enter.
You would put 3.5 because that is the spread right now, but it has shifted since Wednesday when we locked them in.
That's fine.
And we think it might have been 6.5.
Yeah, DB's got them right.
Sounds about right.
DB's got them locked in.
Even if you text like 3.5, because that's the current spread, you would get 6.5 because that's what it was on Wednesday when we locked them in.
And then how many ever, if you win, if you hit, obviously you get those points tallied into a rolling season-long tally. So we really want all the participation we can get. Joey says he wants in on the hot dog eating contest. My buddy Elton texted me. He said he wants it. I mean, this could be big, a Tolo hot dog eating contest. I like it. Man,
an old-fashioned dog off.
That's right. That's right. Michael Vick might want in. Let's go to the phone lines. Tom in Somerville wants to chime in before we get to the biggest games this weekend. Tom, are you ready for some more college football, buddy?
Guys, I'm so ready. I was so happy last night. And I'll say this. If y'all having a hot dog eating contest, you can count me in. I might not win, but I'll happily eat 10 hot dogs.
In 10 minutes, though, Tom? You think you can
Tom, are you an all-beef hot dog snob, or will you eat anything?
I'll eat anything. I mean, I don't care. Hey, if you give me 10 minutes, I might be able to do it.
Yeah. You think you could eat 10 in 10 minutes, Tom?
Oh, heck yeah. Heck yeah. Give me a few beverages beforehand, and we're going to be good.
Oh, my gosh. Tom, this is the last time Tom, we'll talk to you before Sunday's big game. You're a big Gamecock fan down there in Somerville. Tom in Somerville, how do you see this one playing out?
Well, the Gamecocks are going to start off kind of slow. We're going to get a little anxious. We're going to get a little nervous. But then, coming out of the gates at halftime, we are going to put our foot on their throats. LaHosman is going to come out throwing dimes in the second half, and the Gamecocks are going to absolutely put Virginia Tech in the dirt and win by a final score of 35-10.
Wow.
The Gamecocks will be 1-0, and it'll be a great Sunday evening.
Wow.
Hey, Tom, how much were you freaking out this morning when you sent me a screenshot of what looked to be a fake ESPN tweet or post about Lenora Sellers not playing this weekend?
Well, I saw that this morning at about 5 a.m., and I wasn't fully awake yet, and then I got to work, and I saw it again, and I about had to go to the hospital. I was having a few little panic attacks, but you helped me realize that it was probably fake. So I appreciate that, Diesel.
No problem. Cole, have you seen this? There was a tweet sent
I did
out,
see it.
and I thought maybe it was a disgruntled Clemson fan trying to get under the skin of Gamecock fans because somebody obviously tweeted out earlier this week that Cade was injured. So
Yeah, you never know, man. You can't trust these fake, leading up to these games. You don't know what to believe, what not to believe, right?
Always cross-reference with multiple sources.
That's
first before, because this is big deal information.
Yeah, it is. All right, Tom, best of luck to you. We appreciate you, man.
Go Gamecocks. Y'all be good. Be safe.
Tom in Somerville. Let's keep it going. I promise we're going to get our predictions on some of the biggest games, but Tom's cousin Dewey wants to weigh in at 844-FANFONE. Dewey, you're up next. How are you?
Dewey, I tell you what, call us back because, Cole, we're still having that phone line issue that we had last week where depends on which button you push to put them on the air is which one works. So Dewey, call us right back, and we'll get you right back on the air.
I don't think our phone line likes you, Diesel. I think something about it. It's something about you and the phone lines. It doesn't mesh well. All right, let's do this while we wait on Dewey. Putting you on the spot. Let's start tonight, 7:00, App State Charlotte. How does this game play out, Diesel? Right now, App State's favored by 2.5 points. This scares the you-know-what out of me, but I like App State to win tonight. Something about this line, the movement, it's a trap game. It scares the you-know-what out of me, but I'm rolling with your App State Mountaineers tonight. I think it might be a touchdown-type game, maybe 10 points. How do you see it playing out, Diesel?
Yeah, this is a tough one because App State's in a culture shift right now away from quote-unquote App State guys being head coaches. We had a lot of mass transfers out last year. There's just so many question marks about this team. Best players went down. Our starting running back went down about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago with an injury. Transfer quarterback, transfers all over the field. New head coach that I don't have a ton of confidence in, Dow Loggins.
Yeah.
He doesn't really talk about X's and O's. He doesn't give off that I'm really smart about football guy vibe. It's all, hey, I used to coach so-and-so in the NFL. I think this could be a sneaky close game, but I do think App State, just generally speaking, probably pulls in better athletes than does Charlotte. And that's not to hate on Grayson Loftus, who I know is he starting for
No, he's not. He didn't get the nod. No, he's not.
If he was starting for Charlotte, I'd say Charlotte by 1,000,000.
Sure.
But that's a bad choice from the Charlotte head coach. I think App State wins this game. I think it's probably a pretty sloppy game, and we're looking at maybe like a 21-14 kind of game.
I don't hate it. Again, I don't like the line movement. I will tell you that. It does make me nervous. Tonight, Auburn-Baylor, I'm going to go with Auburn in a really, really close one, maybe a field goal win. Auburn's favored by 1.5. Diesel, who are you going with tonight, the Tigers or the Bears?
Isn't this year the year that Baylor's supposed to be resurgent? It's one of those programs
maybe
will sort of ebb and flow. They're good for a year or two, and then they fall back for about 4 or 5. Something just tells me that this is the year that Baylor is going to be back in the mainstream news with that beautiful, still pretty new stadium. Give me Baylor in the upset over Auburn.
I like it. Also tonight, a really big one, 8:00, Georgia Tech, Colorado. The Yellow Jackets are favored by 3.5 points. So here's where I am with this one, Diesel. I know everybody's high on Georgia Tech in 2025, and I mean everybody. Haynes King, right? Really good player, really good quarterback. There's something that scares me about this game tonight for Georgia Tech. And I know Colorado is not the Colorado of a season ago, right? They don't have Shador. They don't have Travis Hunter. But there's something still that just worries me. Maybe it's the fact that it's just still unproven Georgia Tech, right? I do like Haynes King, but Diesel, if you told me right now today that Colorado wins this game tonight, I wouldn't be a bit surprised.
I wouldn't either. Didn't Dion reload with some pretty good players? Like it's still Dion, right?
Still Dion.
Still recruiting 4-star guys out there because it's Dion. So it's one of those tough ones, man. I think.
Do we trust Georgia Tech?
Right, exactly. Georgia Tech is one of those programs that just lets you down. You would think that it's a roster full of smart guys and they should be able to outsmart the other team. But I think Colorado is it's got more big play guys. So give me Colorado getting the dub at home.
It's weird, man. It's just a weird game. I think it could be interesting. Before we get to tomorrow's games, Dewey's back on the phone lines, Diesel, I believe, at 844-FAN-PHONE. Dewey, you there, buddy?
Yeah,
How are you?
I'm hungover. The last night was the appetizer, and I made it to the Cincinnati-Nebraska game. That game sucked, and I turned it off. I went and threw up, went to bed. Now, I'm pumped up tonight because Colorado and Deion Sanders and a Georgia Tech team that everyone's overhyping is playing tonight. And I think my upset pick was the Colorado, and I think Colorado's going to come out and win tonight. And Georgia Tech, they're not as good as Rob Brown and everyone else is saying they're going to be. They're going to be mediocre, and, yeah, Georgia Tech's not going to beat Colorado.
I don't disagree with you.
Other games tonight, too.
Okay. Okay.
And then the high school games are tonight. So there's a lot. I think high school football, there's some games on ESPN, and then the CW usually plays a team or so.
Yeah.
And I might actually listen to you on the radio if I'm not too drunk by the time you come on.
That means a lot, Dewey. I appreciate that.
But there's a lot of football. And as far as Clemson's going down. LSU's going to beat them. LSU's not going to lose a 7th straight opening season game. And then Clemson's overhyped. They're not going to get it done. Forget about it. Put a fork in them. They're getting defeated tomorrow night. And because Dallas going all orange and doing some little shenanigans, it's not going to happen. And Cade's going to throw 3 interceptions.
Ooh, wow.
As far as South Carolina's concerned, I agree with Tom. They're going to get off to a sluggish start, but they're not. Only thing I disagree with is I don't think they're going to put the pedal to the metal at halftime. They're going to continue to be sluggish, and it's going to be a mediocre, low-scoring game. I think 27-3 is where I have it. It's probably going to be lower than that. I don't see them scoring more than 27 points.
Okay. All right, dude.
And then Monday there's more games, and by then I'll be out of beer, and I actually went and bought a couple of buckets too. Tom gave me that idea, so I'm gonna plop myself on the couch and try not to get in trouble and get in fights. And then I only have to get up and use the bathroom. I even got diapers.
Oh, dear God. Thanks, Dewey. That was my IQ.
That's a visual I didn't need.
My IQ just went down big time.
I hear, though, can you DoorDash beer in South Carolina now?
I have no idea.
I know in some places you can. I just don't know if you can DoorDash alcohol in the state of South Carolina.
That's a good question.
And by the way, do a shot, Cole, because we just broke the record. We just broke our goal.
No.
Now we're at 152.
No way.
Dave Mosley, I believe that's April Mosley's husband. He got number 150 in. R.I. Dave is taking LSU over Clemson.
Let's
and
go.
Prince is taking UCLA plus 6.5 against Utah.
Let's go. I love it.
152.
All right, real quick hitters before we run to a break. And we've got Clay Hendricks, in case you missed it, coming up next. Texas, Ohio State. Buckeyes favored by 1.5. Give me tomorrow Ohio State. Julian Sayin takes care of business at home. Arch Manning disappointing in week 1 rather, and all of the naysayers, if you will, are now asking questions about Arch Manning. I'm taking the Buckeyes in this one, Diesel. You?
Yeah, there's who was that guy yesterday, the day before yesterday, came out and said the reality doesn't match the hype, or the tape doesn't match the hype on Arch Manning. That's tough, man, when somebody who's been around you for a while says he actually ain't all that good. He's got great players, and I think he's going to be okay. But Ohio State, in that environment, it's going to be absolutely nuts. Yeah. Even at noon, it's going to be crazy. Arch is not going to be able to hear a thing. Give me the Buckeyes to win this one at home.
Diesel, any worry with Tennessee, number 24 ranked Vols going against Syracuse? 13.5-point spread. Any worry there real quick?
No, I mean, I know that Tennessee's got a new quarterback in Joey Aguilar, but he's an elder statesman at this point. I think he just turned 40, which is crazy. He might even be older than Tom Brady. I don't know. But he holds the single season touchdown record at App State for touchdowns.
At 3, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
At 3:30, Alabama, Florida State. Crimson Tide favored by 14.5 points at Doak Campbell Stadium. I like Bama by 14 exactly, meaning Florida State covers the spread, but they lose the game. Am I wrong there?
I think you're wrong in that they cover, because I don't think they cover.
You don't think so?
I really don't think. Sorry, Melissa. I know Melissa is a Florida State alum, former cheerleader, and she loves the Noles. She even picked the Noles, but I don't think there's any chance Florida State hangs with Bama.
All right, give me Bama by 14 points.
All right.
Let's see, one more. Let's throw one more out there. This one's interesting. Sunday night, Notre Dame, Miami. Diesel, before we run to a break, how does the Catholics and convicts, how does this go? I don't know, man. I'm really intrigued to see Carson back. I'll say that first and foremost. I think there's a possibility that Miami could keep this one close. However, give me the Irish in a somewhat close victory on Sunday night.
In the words of Lee Corso, not so fast, my friend. I think when you've got a known quantity in quarterback in Carson Beck and a ton of talent around him, I think they get it done. Do I think this team's going to be amazing out of the gate? No, I don't.
Okay.
But I do think that they will beat Notre Dame by a narrow margin. Call it a one-score game.
I like it. We'll see. Here we go, Tolos. Here we go. It's time.
All right. And when we come back, Cole, we're going to hear from Clay Hendricks, the head football coach of the Furman Paladins, as they're going to take on William and Mary, a team that got him last year. But he's confident. He's confident they might have a little something for the Tribe. We'll talk to Clay next on the Fan Up.